Here we have a function f of x which is equal to 1 divided by x squared plus 7x plus 12, and we want to find f of 1 plus f of 2 plus f of 3, on and on and on until plus f of 10,000. So obviously we are not going to calculate each and every value because that would take way too much time. There's definitely a trick to this, some pattern, and in fact the pattern here is that this function is telescoping. And what that means is that we can arrange this function in a way that when we add the first value to the second value to the third value, a lot of values cancel out in between until you're left with the first and last value, and you just have to add those two together. Now, how do we get this function into telescoping form? Well, we have to use partial fraction decomposition. And what that means is that we have to separate this fraction into two fractions, preferably two fractions in which it's one fraction minus the other. Now, obviously, we can see that x squared plus 7x plus 12 can be factored into 1 divided by x plus 3 times x plus 4. It can be factored like that. The problem is we need these two fractions to be separate, not in the same fraction. And so to get it into two fractions, we can do this. We can set this equal to some constant a divided by x plus 3, like that, plus some constant b divided by x plus 4, like that. The reason we wrote it like this is because let's multiply both sides by x plus 3 times x plus 4. So when we do it to the left-hand side, the denominator cancels out, so we just have 1. And that would be equal to a divided by x plus 3, but since you're multiplying it by x plus 3 times x plus 4, the x plus 3 cancels, so you get a times x plus 4. And then with b, you pretty much get the same thing, but instead with x plus 3. So now you have this. And now what you have to do is that you have to plug in certain values of x so you can get your values of a and b. Now, what values of x should we plug in? Well, if we plug in x equals -4, then this term will cancel out because -4 plus 4 is 0, so the a will be going away. However, when we plug in x equals -4, over here we get -4 plus 3 equals -1, so we get -1 times b equals 1, so that means we get b equals -1. Now, let's plug in x equals -3. If we do that, then this term cancels out because -3 plus 3 is 0, 0 times b is 0. However, over here we get -3 plus 4 is 1, so 1 times a equals 1, therefore a equals 1. So now what does that mean? Well, if we substitute these values back into this a and b over here, we get 1 divided by x plus 3 times x plus 4 equals 1, as we can see over here, 1 divided by x plus 3 minus 1 divided by x plus 4. It's a minus here because it will be a -1 for b. b is equal to -1. And now we have written this function as two fractions over here, in which one fraction is subtracted from the other. So now let's actually try to plug in f of 1, f of 2, f of 3, and let's add them all up. So f of 1 is, well, that's 1 over 4 minus, 1 over 4 minus 1 over 5. Okay, that's f of 1. What's f of 2? f of 2 is plus 1 over 5 minus 1 over 6. Let's do it one more time. What's f of 3? f of 3 is plus 1 over 6 minus 1 over 7. And as we can see over here, these terms are canceling out. The -1/5 and the +1/5 will cancel out. The -1/6 and the +1/6 will cancel out. And then if we go on, the -1/7 will cancel out with the +1/7. And this will go on and on and on until we get to our last term, 10,000. So let's just do our let's just see what our last term is. It will be plus 1 over 10,003 minus 1 over 10,004. Now the plus 1 over 10,003 will get canceled out from the minus 1 over 10,003 from the 9,999th term. So we're now left with 1/4 minus 1 over 10,004. And we just have to compute this and we'll be done. So let's see, let's just set an equal denominator. Multiply this by 2,501 divided by 2,501. You get 2,501 divided by 10,004 minus 1 over 10,004, and you get 2,500 divided by 10,004. And now divide both sides by 4, and you get, finally, 625 divided by 2,501, and we're done.